Okay, so here we are again, and we're going to be doing some stills from, I think his name's Muybridge, who like to take footage of animals in motion. And with some horses. Now he says here, no inflexible rule can be laid down as to the details of a leap by any animal. The gathering together of the feet, the spring, the clearance of the obstacle, and the descent are contingent upon such a variety of circumstances that no law can be formulated of universal application. Investigation has proved that the same horse with the same rider jumping the same hurdle under the same apparent conditions will in two successive jumps present an entirely different series of phases. Now that, to me, sounds like a bunch of bullshit. He's trying to overcomplicate it. Yeah, they might be slightly different, but there's no way they're completely different. So I don't believe what he's saying at all. And of course, if what he's saying is true, then it's pointless actually trying to study how an animal would move, because there's no pattern to it. Obviously, the biomechanics are going to be similar. If it is the same leap, they're going to be similar. I don't know what he's saying. He's sounding like he just sounds like he's being I don't want to sort of criticize him too much. We'll get to that in a minute. There's some other problems with him, but yeah, I think he's just trying to make himself sound a little more impressive, a little more intellectual than he actually is. I mean, I'm happy that he's done this stuff, but to a degree, I would explain there is a few problems, but saying that no leap of any animal can be basically stereotyped and categorized, they're all different, is a pile of freaking bullshit. Edward, you know it's bullshit. You just want it to sound fancy and mysterious and whatever. You basically wanted to amplify the complexity, right, of what you're doing here. What you're doing, although for the time was technical, says the idiot that just drew in the background again, but what you're doing, Edward, is you're taking footage of animals moving and then publishing it. Okay, just put it into perspective. It's not, you're not coming up with a theory of evolution here. Anyway, so we'll do some motion. Now, what I'm more concerned about, the question I would ask Edward, okay, that I think is of definitely more importance. By the way, when I'm drawing this leap, I'm most certainly going to do the very opposite of what Edward's saying, and I'm going to I'm going to basically use this as a pattern for how leaps will take place over and over again in the world. Not every leap is the same. What a pile of shit. They're all slightly different, but they're going to have very similar features, and that's why we can learn those features and replicate them. But what I'm more interested in from Edward, the question I would like answered from him is why on this photo that you've taken with the horse and a rider, okay, why did you stick a naked dude with a jockstrap on top? Okay, that's the question I want to know. because that is a very weird thing to do. And I didn't appreciate that. I appreciated the animal pictures, but the naked dudes in jock straps, I don't need to see it. I'm never going to be drawing a naked guy on a horse in a jock strap, and a bit of clothing would have been suitable there. That's one of the problems with Edward's books, actually. You'll be shocked at the amount of naked dudes running around in jock straps, or even nothing at all. I think there's some nothing at alls running around like it's just here's naked guys hurdling. They're like, throwing javelins. Like, man, we don't need to see it all. Okay. I'm sort of getting the feeling that Edward really wanted to see it. That's kind of what I'm thinking, maybe. And he wanted to share, but I didn't really appreciate it. It actually makes the books a little awkward. But that's a different topic. There are some weird people in the art world. Very weird people who like to normalize things that shouldn't really be normalized. Anyway. And then the other question is, what kind of person, right? So imagine you're there and you're sitting in the bar, I guess, I don't know, you're in someone's parlor maybe, and Edward says, hey, listen, I've got a project I'm doing. It's a scientific project I'm working on. It's very important for the progress of art in the modern age, the technology that we have. How would you like to come on down to my studio, bring your jockstrap, jump on top of a horse and leap around? I'll take photos of you. How does that sound? And the guy's like, you know what? That was on my mind all morning. I was waiting for you to ask me, Ed. Thanks for asking me. I've already got my jockstrap. Where's the studio? Let me know. I'll tell my wife what time, and I'll be down there. What kind of weird character would do that? So, in actual fact, these jockstrap shots are not the most obnoxious because the figure's quite small in them. But trust me, there are some ones like where they're sprinting and doing all kinds of activities. Pretty close, pretty sort of like definitely giving you a new insight on, a new angle on life. What a weirdo. People say, oh, how will you know how to draw the anatomy without guys in jockstraps? I assure you that you can wear more than that and get the main forms that you need in these types of studies. But my point remains, who actually wants to do that? I guess there's a certain guy that wants to do that, even if it was for science. What a good Ted. He's like, are you sure, Ed? Are you sure I need to wear that jockstrap? I just brought some shorts with me, and I was just gonna wear shorts and singlet if you didn't mind. Ed's like, no. I will provide the jockstrap. I sewed it myself last night. I put your initials on it. poor horse as well. Like, does he really want that? I mean, like, you got to think of him. Or I guess it's probably a mare. It's probably a girl horse. You know, it's like, why is this guy in a jockstrap on top of me here? You could say maybe I'm thinking too much about it. Oh, here we go. We're finally joining the jockstrap. It might sound a bit weird, but to be talking about like this. But trust me, when you get into the book, is what it is and he does an animal book, and I was just getting the stuff off of I was just getting the images like of archive and I was just picking up images. I was thinking of getting the full books, and then his people one was just like, it was just so full of jock straps. I was like, and nude dudes doing weird stuff. I was like, what the hell? I don't want this book. I don't need to be doing this. This is not, you only live once, man. Draw what you want to draw. But the animal one's quite good. So why would you even draw bones? Moving on from the topic. Actually, detailed bones aren't useful. I don't believe, in general, unless you want to draw bones. Right? So drawing, like, they're useful for drawing bones. Like in a picture, sometimes you'll need to draw bones, maybe. But for drawing, like for constructing animals, I would say, simplified bones are all you need, and really that it's for a proportional setup. They lay out the proportional setup for you. Really, that's their use, I believe. So they can be of use, yeah, but like detailed, and the same for skulls. Like detailed stuff for construction's not really gonna help you, because you simply end up covering it all up. Anyway, but the main framework can help. Well, what the hell would I know, man? If in doubt, just do what the pros do and just trace it, and then claim you drew it. Remember that era when this kind of reminds me of, remember that era where Disney realized that Disney was getting more realistic. This was Snow White, it started, and they realized, the animators realized, that it's actually impossible to draw like realistic people in perspective in 3D and animate them from their head. They kind of discovered this the hard way, and it is right. And so then they just started. What am I doing here? There's this frickin' thing. You know where the frickin' neck is? I'm getting confused by something. That's because of that. I'll be honest. I keep looking at the jockstrap. Jockstrap. Now, remember that time in with Disney, right? So they realized that they were taking on the impossible task of animating in perspective realistic people. So then they started using tracing over footage. So they just started taking footage and tracing over, rotoscoping. They used to call it in games. I don't know if they called it rotoscoping then. And so what they actually ended up doing is just tracing stuff. I mean, they like tuned it, kind of thing. But they, dude, where is he sitting? Come on, man. God, He's doing a weird thing, isn't he? Thank God he's just in a jockstrap so I can see. Otherwise, I would never have known what he was doing there. So what they ended up doing really is tracing these scenes, and I've seen the scenes as well. You can see the scenes, and they just traced them verbatim, really, and then they kind of tuned up the faces and stuff. But and then they got themselves into a real mess because, you see, after they'd done that, after you start doing it, it's like you have to keep doing it because otherwise you're not going to be consistent. Some things are going to look. I mean, they didn't do it in everything, but they got themselves in a mess because they really have to do it for every complex movement scene. And then that culminated, I think, in Anastasia, where Don Bluth, who used to work for Disney, but that was a Don Bluth movie, but I think they used it extensively in that. So it does beg the question, what is that? What does that mean if you just trace over footage? I don't know, maybe it means box office success. Maybe that's what it means. Just remember, like when we're looking at these shots, that this could never be repeated. Okay? The horse would never ever do anything like this again. That's what Ed's told us. It's funny because I've seen this one all the time. It's watching and this one, I've seen that all the time. I've seen that all the time. Just watching just seeing pictures or like watching, what's it called? A question, What a pile of shit, Ed. God, so critical. Where are the good vibes? That's all people want now. Like, everything's just good vibes. In Muppet World, it's just got to be good vibes. Life's just good vibes. Do you know? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Am I multiplying? Am I multiplying? Yes, I am. Come on, you're on camera. People already don't think you know how to use Photoshop. Yeah. Just colouring it. I'm a colourist. I'm going to buy my colouring books and stuff. Instead of having kids, you just buy colouring books and then do it yourself. That's what you do now. Buy dogs and then you buy colouring books. And then you buy toys. You buy more toys as an adult than kids ever had. Like, these people, I've got more toys than I ever had as a kid. I'm like, you're an adult. But you see, oh, you idiot. See that? Criticising people, bad vibes, and then I got calmed. Yeah. You see them, they got more. They collect more toys, and that's because you don't have kids. You see, like you can afford a lot of toys for yourself and your dog. More than if you have kids, right? You might have to. This is a crazy idea. You'd have to buy your kids toys, and then you'd miss out. That's part of the problem, though. Who wants to miss out on their toys? My auntie was like that. I had all these toys and couldn't understand it when I was a kid. Then I got older and realised what she was. One of the first generation of them. Bit of family history for you. Look at that. These purple horses. And what you'll notice here is that I didn't have to draw a jockstrap on him. He actually could have been wearing shorts, right? And it would be the same shape, right? The jockstrap really wasn't necessary, was it? I mean, let's be honest. He could have wore some shorts there. For me, anyway, like for someone who wants to do the jockstraps, okay. That's all I did in 20 minutes. Like, Jesus Christ. No wonder these videos are so long. Like, drawing takes a long time, you know. So, anyway, I think we'll just finish there because yesterday went too long. You know, you don't want to do anything that's long. You know what? I'm not going to finish. Fuck that. I'm sick of abiding by these rules. I'm such a counterculture rebel. All right. So, like, yeah. So the thing is, the more you do, this is the world, right? So if I do a long video where I've done, let's say, more stuff in the video, less people will watch it. If you do a small video, more people will watch it, and the smaller you do it, the more success you have to a certain point when it's too short and then no one thinks you made any effort, you see. But really you can get really short before that happens. Alright, so now this is the case where maybe that horse could have been wearing a jockstrap. Maybe that would have, because, you know, maybe that was the time, Ed, for the jockstrap, you know. Just kidding. You know. I don't think it's a stallion. So this is that problem I had yesterday. Oh, that's what I used to do. You're such an idiot. Oh no, it doesn't work. No, what did I used to do? Maybe this is what it always was. I could never actually size it like without image sizing it. Maybe that it was always like that. It just didn't feel like it was like that. You know, this is like we're doing actual pixels. We're exhibiting our ignorance on screen here. No, there's no percentage. Oh, yes, it is. It's down here. Oh, it's hidden by. Okay, in my defense, it's actually hidden by a brush and a cup. That's covering my screen. All right. In my defense. Oh no, wait, that's the wrong window. What is one? Yeah. Okay. Jesus Christ. Now what is happening? My things interfering with my. Okay, what happens when I do 170.1%? My tablet's interfering with my mouse. Yeah, it can be done, but it's wow, that's really annoying. You couldn't give. Maybe later Photoshops have a better system. Probably they do. So yeah, I was just trying to waste everyone's time, you know, to increase the length of my video. Look at this little fatty Arbuckle here, Mr. Fat Belly. No, not really. I mean, he's got to eat hay and stuff, so give him a break. Horses, you little weirdos. That's the thing, like, you know, one annoying thing about, I like to complain about, you know, nature and stuff. One annoying thing about quadrupeds, okay, and this is some more bullshit you'll hear from art experts and stuff. I read it myself. Sculpture book, and they'll say something like, "Oh, if you all mammals share the same basic form. So if you learn, you know how to do one, like you just crosses over and you just do the other ones." And it's like, no. Bullshit alert going off, just like when I read that thing from Ed there. So the reality is that the quadrupeds, yes, they've got all the same muscles and all the same stuff, but the problem, and it's not just the proportions different. What's annoying about them is that the way the legs are, the limbs are, is so different. The way they bend, and like, look at this knee. What? Look at it. Look how stumpy that like quad is, and then, right? See the way that their limbs are. It's so different. The way they stand and everything that, and of course, you know, the extended limbs compared to ours. The extremities, right? It's so different that you can't just go, I'll just do what I learned from people, and I'll adjust it to my quadruped. Right? These arm areas, forelimb areas are, you know, very compacted on mammals that aren't primates, to the point where you can't even sometimes differentiate. Like, you can't see where the bicep is, probably, stuff like that. So it's not the same. Yes, it's the same, but it's like birds have arms and legs as well. It's just the same as a person. Sometimes the birds like got more of a similarity than some of these freaks in the mammalian world. So just, you know, just a bit of bullshit. Good luck, basically, if you want to rely on that. Oh, my mic's about to fall off. I think it's sick of listening to me. Oh, bad luck, Mike. If you want to listen to that and just draw animals like as though they're people but on four legs, you could do that. Okay, go for it. Actually, someone who kind of does that a little bit and it worked out. This is too. Why am I'm on my thick pen. That's why I'm on my thick pencil. I'm like, why is this so thick? Is someone who actually does that and it worked pretty well was Heinrich Clay, when he was doing elephants. And I was looking at them the other day and I was like, yeah, you've actually done them pretty like people, like, because, you know, elephants aren't easy to find. He's kind of like anthropomorphized them quite heavily, but it works in some of these poses. It's a tricky thing if you're trying to make animals do like people's stuff. Their limbs don't really do it exactly, but you can bend the rules quite a bit. And wow, what interesting, you know, ideas we're talking about. Amazing. If I keep going, I'll be like as intellectual as Edward. You know, the philosophy of anthropomorphizing. Got it out. Animals, you know. No two animals could ever be anthropomorphized the same, in the same pose. It would always be different. They could never sit the same way. See, what he would do, I mean, you know what I'm going to say, but what he would do is he'd do a whole book where all the animals are in jockstraps. That would be his way of making them like people, you know. And Clay didn't do that. Luckily, Clay did like the elephants were skating and doing wholesome stuff. It was good. I wouldn't say he was really wholesome, Henry Clay, but exactly. But some pretty weird stuff there. Oh, I think we've got a big head. It's like a donkey. We're heading down donkey territory there. Lucky I backed out. I took my eye off the bottom of that water for a second. I'm like, started getting a little bit casual, and before I knew it, it was like donkey head. I don't know why I'm thinking about that. Donkeys, but I actually saw some pictures of them. Neighbour showed me some pictures of the donkeys. You know what's going on up here. Like it's all just it's a mix of like hair and like car shadow and like everything, like bad, like printing, JPEG. Like we don't know what the hell is happening at the head there. I honestly don't know what's going on, and I'm just gonna have to say, look, like I don't know. I know the mouth. I know the little bullshit little mouth goes down there, but like it's gonna look weird whatever I do here now, because you're gonna be waiting for like I just think I should leave it, really. I think that's the best bet. I'm acting like the future of this drawing matters is just going to get deleted or put into a file. It'll probably just get deleted. Actually, you know what will probably happen? This is probably the fate of all these drawings. Is what will happen is when my computer updates, and I always put that off as much as I possibly can, because it often fucks up my stuff, and it gets rid of my 10,000 tabs as well. But it'll probably update, and then Photoshop will close, and then I'll lose everything. So that's probably what happens. Isn't that sad? That's sad. Not my fault. Updates, they're really bad. I'm not the only person that hates them. So how are we looking here for basic proportion for this little horse, this big horse, this rearing thing? I think that's pretty much alright. I think we sort of got to add my little magic. What colour do you want? What colour should we do to finish off here? I might as well do the same colour. Look at that, hear that sound? That's the sound of my pen wearing down gradually on this tablet until I have to go find a replacement and be really annoyed. And I realise, oh, this pen's like so old, and I didn't use it for years and it doesn't fit. There we go, he's like a red rearing dragon horse. I think that just annoys me. That is. Give it a bit more mane, but you know, whatever. Okay, that's enough.